Hey Bestie Bees, it's your girl Desiree.
And it's your girl, My Lizzle.
And we are the BEYHIVE Podcast. And for today's episode, we're going to get into the zodiac signs. You know, Queen Bee is the mother of all mother Virgos. So we're going to get a little bit into that. But first, we're going to start with our song of the day. Or the week. How we feeling? What's your song of the day, Maya?
Dang, I never think about it. You go first.
Okay. Mine is signs, which I thought was perfect for this episode since we're talking about zodiac. And I feel like Beyonce was ahead of her time. Well, actually, let me not say that. But I feel like zodiac signs, like back then, everyone thought it was like, oh, like whatever. But I think it's becoming more popular now to talk about zodiacs. So I feel like that song is just perfect. And it helped me learn like the order of them.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my song today.
For sure. Very perfect for today.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, I don't know.
Have you been listening to one like more than like others or?
Not necessarily. There's just been so much music out. I feel like I've been listening to everything.
Oh, okay.
Okay, maybe, just because I feel like I'm in a feel good mood. I want to say maybe before I let go.
Before I let you go.
Yes. Actually, earlier this week, I was on that vibe because I've been in like a big oldies vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's a song like. Like the original is good, but I don't think anyone else could do it justice besides Beyonce, because it's just one of those songs. Like, it's a classic song, but I do love her version of it and how she put her own twist into it. So yeah, Before I Let Go.
I've been hearing that song more because since Coachella is happening right now, everyone's like posting old videos of Beychella,
right?
And I'm like, I wish I was there. Like, that was a moment in history that I feel like no one will ever top, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure. Actually, because an update too. I didn't know that there's only like 3 Coachella headliner performances that have gotten a perfect score, and I didn't know that Beyonce was one of them too. But it makes sense.
Who's the scorekeeper?
Honestly, I don't know. But I can't remember the organization that does it. But because Doja Cat also just got a perfect score too. And there's like 3 people in history. Wow. And surprisingly, they're all women, but it's Doja Cat, Billie Eilish, and Beyonce.
I've seen clips of Doja's, but I don't know if I've seen Billie Eilish's.
Yeah, I think she headlined a couple years ago. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Wow.
And then you brought up the CNN documentary.
Yes. Another update is CNN, I think, is partnering with HBO Max, and they're going to put out a documentary about how Beyonce's impact on country music. I think it's called Call Me Country, something like that.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
So I think because I know y'all love to correct people, but it seems legit. But at the same time, I'm like, wait, is this rumored or something? But I looked it up, and it seems like legit. Like, it's actually going to come out April 26th.
Yeah, so. I looked it up too, and it doesn't seem like Beyonce is a part of it, but it seems like it's gonna be more of a like kind of like how there's this renaissance happening with country music too. Because I seen that Lil Nas X is also gonna be featured in it as well.
Impact? He do country music now?
Well, you know, Old Town Road was huge.
Oh, why am I thinking of Little Uzi Vert? Oh my god, I'm so old. I was like, Little Uzi Vert. I don't know why my brain said she's talking about Little Uzi Vert. I was like, how is Little Uzi Vert gonna be in this?
You're like, you did get confused. Like, what? I'm like, yeah, Old Town Road.
Yeah. That makes Little Nas X. That makes sense because, yeah, that makes sense that he would be in it. That was going to be my next question, or something I was going to look up was, what is Beyonce going to be part of this? Because I'm like, does Beyonce know about this? Like, did y'all let her know?
Right, because there wasn't too much like press, or it wasn't like a big thing. But when I looked it up, I did see some articles about it, and it was like in Billboard also. But I think I kind of just skimmed over the article, so if anybody wants to correct us, just know that we're not speaking facts. This is just what we've seen.
What we see online. I think that's what the updates are, or even like where I get inspiration from is like what the Beehive is talking about on social media, and we bring it into the podcast so we can all discuss it, you know?
Right.
But
yeah. So I'm excited to see what that's about though, because there has been a lot. Country has been like a hot topic lately, even outside of Beyonce, which is very interesting. But to introduce our topic today, we are talking all things astrology, because one thing you know about Beyonce, she's never gonna let us forget that she's a Virgo.
She's a Virgo.
But if you're tuned in right now, we're not gonna say or reveal it until the end of the episode. But try to guess what signs we are.
I'm really curious to see if people would know what sign I am.
Right. People definitely, when I meet people, they always get surprised when I say, like, what sign I am. Yeah.
People always say that makes sense when they find out what zodiac sign I am.
Okay.
But I never really had people guess it. So I'm really curious to see what they guess. And also, y'all put your zodiac signs too in the comments if you're watching on YouTube or whatever and everything. I would love to see like who's watching us, you know, what zodiac signs are, and Beehive, whatever.
Of course, Beyonce is a Virgo. So we just wanted to start off by talking about some of our favorite Beyonce Virgo moments, and maybe even just some characteristics about her that kind of like confirm her Virgo energy.
A hard worker. Her work ethic
for sure.
Anytime I see interviews of other people who have worked with Beyonce, they've all said like she has one of the best work ethics they've ever seen. Yeah. It makes them want to work harder. So that's always what I hear a lot about her as well. And then she's just like, for me, Virgos, maybe because I'm a no I could edit that out. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything because I'm gonna give it away. No, let me not say nothing because they gonna know. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, Maya, what do you gotta say?
No, so I think that's one thing. Also, Virgos are very like perfectionists. I feel like that's like a Virgo stereotype, and one thing about her is that things need to be a certain way, or I'll say like maybe not necessarily perfectionist, but very particular. Like when they have a vision for something, that's what they want the results to be, and that's like how they go in executing it. Yeah, let's get into some examples.
Yeah, well, also on Threads we asked this question of what are y'all's favorite Virgo moments from Beyonce, and a common theme I saw was just really like her behind the scenes, like when they try to BS her about like the different lights or something on the Renaissance documentary or the film, and she's like, well, I looked it up and they do exist. You know, so I feel like she's a boss, you know, and I feel like that gives very much Virgo energy. For me, the way I look at Virgos, or like, and maybe Beyonce has to do with this, I see them as like goddess, where I'm like, yes, I get it, like I will bow to you. And that's probably like one of the few the few zodiac signs where I'm like, I'll like bow to, or maybe just Beyonce. But I really feel like her, the examples were that one, and then the lights, somebody getting fired.
Yeah. No, because I think Virgos are really characters for real too. And like we don't really get too much of her personality now, but there are little like things that she has done where it's like you can tell she really is a character in real life. Like something else that was in the Renaissance film, when she like went back home and she was eating the food. She was like, somebody got to get me out of the South.
Dangerous.
Like, quick. Yes. Like, they just have such a fun personality, for sure. Also, I want to say very loving and, like, considerate of other people.
Someone said her just simply being born was the best Virgo moment ever. September 4th, 1981. The best thing a Virgo could do is be born. Other people say...
I will respectfully disagree.
Disagree?
Yes.
Wait, what you mean? Elaborate.
I like Virgos, but, like, I'm sorry. Y'all are not the... Because, okay, wait. What are the negative aspects of Virgos, though?
Nothing. Just kidding. For me... No, I don't want to make it a gender thing, because I was going to say, like, any negative thing about, sometimes they can be a little judgmental, you know, but rightfully so.
Yes, honestly, that is one thing about Virgos, too.
Rightfully so, though, because some people do need to be judged. Some of y'all do be tripping. Yes. We'll get into that later, the signs that I feel like, you know what, let me not.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because that's something that I did forget about Virgos, for sure.
I feel like it's an earth sign thing. Like, earth signs be judging people.
Possibly, because I could see, like, when you're just very, like, grounded all the time and being around other people that aren't necessarily, like, as down to earth, it could be,
y'all
like,
just
a
dumb.
little, yeah.
Y'all just dumb. Let me go somewhere else with this. But I like this one moment where, even any time where she's on stage and she's like, turn the fan on.
Yeah.
She's very, like, to detail. I even remember in the Renaissance film, Blue Ivy called her. I was like, Mom, you're worrying about the detail of these fingers. And Blue Ivy, the little Capricorn she is, again, earth signs, keeping it real. Like, she's like, Mom, like, you doing the most. And I feel like only her daughter could probably say that to her.
Right.
That she's so, I guess, anal about the details and everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, it all pays off because of the performances that she puts on.
Right,
you know?
For sure. And those little details definitely matter. As far as, like, bringing things together collectively. I guess just in general, too, being able to pay attention to, like, details like that is really important. It's a skill not everybody has.
Yeah. She'll even try and decide. I remember another moment was Miss Luggage. There's this clip of Destiny's Child where Pharrah was in it, and Beyonce, her and Beyonce were kind of going back and forth about either she misses her flight or she doesn't get her luggage. And Beyonce's like, well, it's better for you to not have luggage than to miss your flight. And she's like, no, it's not. And Beyonce's like, it's not. Like, the way she said it was just so funny. And I think that was another moment that someone put on Threads that were their favorite Virgo moment from Beyonce, of just keeping it real. It was like, well, girl, like, someone can send your luggage, but you're going to miss your flight if you don't go now. And Pharrah was like, right. I want to know, what is Pharrah's sign? But Pharrah was like, no, because y'all not going to come out there. I'm not going to have my luggage for like 2-3 days.
Oh, yeah.
And Beyonce's like, well, girl, like, you know, I try to give you advice and you don't want to take it. So why are you looking at me for?
Right.
That was just funny to me.
No, something else that just came to mind too is like, one thing about Virgos, they only let you know things that they want you to know. Like, they're very semi-private. Like, they can have like as far as like celebrities and things like that, like you feel like you know them, but you really don't know them for real. Like, they only let you know the things that they want you to know, which of course, like, Beyonce is really big for now, especially because she doesn't talk to us, she doesn't give interviews or anything like that. But every time we see her pop out, it's on purpose. Like, even when people think that they caught her, like, because she did show up to Chloe's Coachella performance yesterday, and it's like this picture of her like with the smoke, and you just see like the background of the hat.
Bro, she just standing there, and all you see, I know what you're talking about, and I'm like, Beyonce, is that you? Girl, we know that's you, Beyonce. It's so funny because she wants to be low key, but I'm not gonna lie. Some of the outfits she wears, I'm like, that can be no one else but you, Beyonce, with the blonde wig. I'm like, Beyonce, now we know you. That's you, girl. Stop playing with us. The cowboy hat and blonde hair. Who else could it be?
Right. But I feel like even when we think we're catching her doing something, like, it's still very much on purpose.
She's the queen of plot twists of like, y'all thought you knew, but you didn't. But yeah, I love her Virgo energy. It's rumored, well, people like the astrology people who be doing like celebrity charts, they say that she's a Libra rising. I don't know how true that is, but I know Libra is all about like keeping the balance or something like that. Being fair. And I do remember Beyonce saying something like that. I think in one documentary she had, maybe it was the Renaissance film, of, you know, just as a woman being in this business where it's like, you know, I can be fair with people, you know, because as a Black woman, people are going to have tried her and BS'd her and everything. And she's like, I can be fair, but trying to be nice or like, oh, it's okay, this and that, like, it doesn't. In that kind of industry, you know, you'll get pushed over, I think, really easily if you don't have a strong backbone or just, maybe just being a bee, you know, like,
well, but speaking of being in the industry just in general, some of our other favorites that are Virgos are Keke Palmer. And
love her.
Literally, she actually posts about being a Virgo every single day on her story too.
Really?
Every single day. Like if you look right now on her story, there's a post about her being a Virgo. Like,
so they gonna let you know.
Maybe that's something about Virgos too. They don't let you forget that they're Virgos.
You know I'm Virgo, right?
Right. But yeah, she loves bringing out that Virgo card.
I love that.
Zendaya is also a Virgo.
She's very private as well.
Very, very hardworking.
Gracious.
Yes, very humble. Kobe Bryant is also a Virgo, which,
no surprise, one of the best basketball players ever.
Literally,
you know,
very much a GOAT. And again, work ethic, attention to details, and things like that. Very much Virgo energy. Idris Elba.
Oof.
Yes.
Idris Elba, you watching this right now? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, because he married. Let me stop. Respectfully.
But even the talent, because like he was an actor, but he's also a whole ass DJ too.
I forgot about that. And there's a movie about like him DJing in the movie.
That's how he got started. Actually.
Okay. But so he's a male Virgo, and you know, I haven't had the best experiences with Virgo men or even just earth sign men. I'm just like, y'all like, y'all mean. But just like not, I don't know. But I mean, it could be different.
We'll get into it. Because the last one last but not least, of course, Amy Winehouse was also a Virgo.
What about Michael Jackson?
And again, work ethic, attention to details, like,
Michael Jackson.
Right.
I was like, wait,
I definitely skipped him, but the ultimate Virgo of Virgos, Michael Jackson. Again, work ethic, attention to details. Private, but he didn't really have a choice but to be private because he literally couldn't walk outside without a disguise because he was so famous.
Maybe he was like such thing. I wonder if like I always thought about if there was ever such a thing as being too famous. I think it was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Where it's like, dang, like I feel you go into a mall and then it's just like you're just swarmed by people. But yeah, he's very Virgo. I mean, I'm starting to realize like Virgos are just like the best at what they do. Like
it's all work ethic and being like a perfectionist. Like everything, I feel like everything that they execute when they really love something, like they go above and beyond to like be the best at it. And I'm pretty sure there's some people that we're missing, of course.
Yeah, because there's a lot of other Virgos, but I would say I feel like they are not trying to be better than others, but just better than they were before. I feel like that they're their own competitor, and that's something I know Beyonce has said. And all the other Virgos you listed, I never heard them like ever talk down about anybody else or say like I'm trying to outdo this person or that person. Is like they're just like in their own world and they're just trying to be better than they were the day before.
Oh yeah, especially Michael Jackson too. It was like every single project he worked on, he wanted it to be better than like the last one. And I think there was even a period in his career where he was even feeling like he wasn't the best because like he didn't feel like he could make another project that topped Thriller, because Thriller was still to this day the biggest project anybody has ever done musically, and argue with your mother about that one.
She's like, go talk to your mama.
Yes, because Thriller, like literally Michael Jackson still has so many, like getting back to the monthly listeners, for someone to be passed away for over like a decade ago, almost 20 years ago now, like about 15 years, like he still has about, I want to say the last time I looked, it was like 50 million monthly listeners.
Dang, because he was known in every country. Yeah. You could live literally under a rock and you would know who that man is. Like everybody knew this man. Is so crazy. And I have, maybe it's a controversial question, but who is your favorite Virgo? Is it Beyonce? Because it's Beyonce for me all day. But y'all two answer that question. Like, who is your favorite Virgo? I mean, it could be someone in your personal life, but like celebrity-wise too, you know. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Beyonce. Actually, it's a tie between Beyonce and Michael Jackson because I grew up being a big fan of both of theirs. Yeah. I went through a phase that's all I listened to, which is Michael Jackson and Beyonce. But I would say Beyonce.
I don't know. I think I just like Virgos in general, and it's hard to say because there's so many other, like, you know, parts of like your astrological like makeup that add into other things. But of course, like, honestly, I don't know. I really love all the people that we mentioned. I've been a big Zendaya fan. I'll always like go hard for people that are from the Bay. Come on, Kiki, keep a bag, Palmer. Like, who doesn't love Kiki?
Virgos do keep a bag. They always gonna find a way.
Yes, and honestly, just her being an inspiration for Black girls and Black women. Like, she's really an icon as far as like having an example of a Black girl in television, and literally the first Black girl to ever have her own TV show on Nickelodeon, like to star.
I love Jackson VP.
Yeah, True Jackson VP.
Maybe
that's something else about Virgos too. They are really pioneers. Like, there's always, like, even with the people we name, like, they have really set like certain standards, the trends, like, trends, certain things like that. Like, wow, I really love Virgos.
Me too. I think someone even in a third comment put Cowboy Carter, and I didn't know what they meant by that. But just how Cowboy Carter is an example, I think, of Beyonce being a kind of a pioneer within country music, of creating like a new sound to country, like adding her own little twist to it and everything. So that's it. I think that's like an example of her just being. She won the Innovator Award for iHeartRadio, so there's that example as well. Yeah.
They really just be in their own lanes. Like, they do what they want to do, but it's so great because so much goes into it, hard work, the details and stuff, and it's just, I think on the outside looking in, it's kind of like, oh, like, we think that they're doing it because, you know, that's what they love to do, which of course is the case. But what I'm trying to get at is, like, they always do things for themselves, like how we said they compete with themselves, and that's what they try to be better than. They really don't be thinking about, okay, like, who is this going to help? What are my fans going to think? The audience is just, this is what I love to do, so I'm gonna do it. So
also, and it's not a surprise that, well, at least for Beyonce, her work ethic, where it comes from, like her being not just being a Virgo, but also both her parents are Capricorns, which I did not know. I looked it up. I knew her mom was, I think her birthday's January 4th, and her dad I looked it up and it said his was January 9th.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so
wow,
I'm like, okay,
close.
so not just her being a Virgo, but she grew up with other earth signs who are really known to be career driven, very hard workers as well, very practical, realistic, and everything like that. So I think they knew how much hard work it takes to be successful, and they definitely passed that on to Beyonce as well. And I think Beyonce's even talked about that, as well, like where she got, or just how her parents inspired her by seeing them work so hard.
Yeah.
And then sweet little Solange is the water sign. She's a Cancer, which I love Cancers as well, especially Cancer women. They're very
emotional,
but I just love Solange, and it makes sense because I will say, like, Solange, there is something a little different about her compared, I guess, like to Beyonce and her parents. Like, I can see, like, I don't know, like, I see it, the difference of, like, okay, I get why, like, how she's a water sign, like, I could tell.
Yeah.
And water and earth sign are supposed to get along pretty well, so I know her and Beyonce have a really good relationship, like sister relationship, so.
Yeah. I think with Solange, too, she just kind of gives me, like, I don't know if it makes sense, but she's really, like, an artist.
Yeah.
Like, she's really into, like, aesthetics and certain things like that. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I make, like, instruments, like, really.
Yeah, she's very...
Yeah, artist.
Yeah, and she's just always been so, like, very chill and laid back. Like, she does her music and she's on to, like, the next thing. And then I know she has, like, a creative agency. Like, she just... It was something that she just did with, like, Ari Lennox. She has a different approach to artistry than, like, Beyonce, for sure.
Yeah, it's more, I don't know how to put it. I wish I had, like, the terms, but...
I don't want to say spiritual, but that's kind of what I want to say at the same time. Just because when I hear Solange's music, it's very... And with When I Get Home, too, it's very... it's kind of like affirmative chants.
Call
like
me. That's one of my favorite songs by her.
Yeah, like everything is like affirmations. You're saying the same thing over and over. It kind of reminds me of like Negro spirituals, how it was like always the same thing over and over again. But it's something like spiritual in doing that. And then the music. I know also in her like Harper's Bazaar interview, she talked a lot about her next project is going to be more so of her getting into her roots and her heritage and things like that, because a lot of things before was like Black history and like Black people, Black culture, and now it's gonna be just her personal
like her personal one.
Yeah,
she said life journey.
Yeah, like her family's heritage, where they come from, and just like her ancestry. She said that where she is in life, that those are things that have become really important to her.
Oh, I do like that. I feel like she kind of did that. Well, I guess more like with Houston culture, her album When I Get Home. I feel like she shined a light on that, or especially with like her visuals.
Yeah,
I think a lot seemed like it was shot or just inspired by like Texan, right? That's the word. Texan.
Yeah.
Texan culture.
Texans.
However, yeah. I actually feel like anytime I listen to her music, I just like want to do like dun, dun, like it's very flowy and just like water. And she a water sign, so
real
I think
like
that's how
feel good music.
Yeah.
I think with her, it's not necessarily what's like. Okay, Beyonce makes a statement. It's like what she's saying and her approach to it, but Solange is like how it makes you feel.
Ooh, there's actually a post. It reminds me of a post I seen of like who Beyonce is in real life versus in her music, and then it's like flipped for Solange. I think for Solange, like her real life, she's like beating up Jay-Z in the elevator, and very like music. Feisty. But her music is like very like calming, like oh my gosh, like taking a bubble bath, going into nature, whatever.
Was it the Moana?
Yes. And Beyonce is the complete opposite. Beyonce is the ring along. I've been so long. That's her music, but her in real life, she's very like calm, cool, collected, Virgo self, you know?
Yeah, I love that comparison because it's so accurate.
No, for real.
For sure.
I know they ride hard for one another. And I mean, only being the two siblings, I'm sure like that does make a like difference. Like it's just us two, you know?
Yeah, and sisterhood, of course.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of the elevator, Beyonce being a Virgo and Jay-Z being a Sag, that's an interesting combination.
But then, so, because I know it's like earth and fire, I guess technically they're not supposed to get along, but it seems to work for them. I was surprised because Beyonce being a Virgo and then Jay-Z being a Sag, just like, okay, that's fire and earth. And usually people say like they're not compatible, but Beyonce over here saying that's the love of her life, you know, in Lemonade. And he's even said that in interviews of like when their relationship was kind of rocky and but they wanted to fight for it because, you know, they love each other so much. And I'm like thinking about it like zodiac wise, of like how fire and earth could come together.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm still puzzled, but I mean maybe it has to do something with the chart as a whole.
Yeah, you know? For sure. I think sometimes with earth and fire, it could be like a good balance too. Also depending on what kind of fire sign, because like if Aries are like the fire signs of the fire signs for sure, but Sagittarius, I feel like they do get along with people, very social. They're just very stubborn.
Sagittarius do be,
and I feel like Virgos could also be very stubborn too, because they just have like, you know, when they have like a certain idea of how things wants to be and things like that. I think that's where I can see them clashing. But yeah, I don't know about that dynamic, but maybe that's where like the balance is.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I do. Well. I can kind of see him because, sorry, I don't care what nobody say now, but back in the day, and maybe even a little bit today, Jay-Z was very much that nigga.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I see it, but then I'm still like,
it was before our time though.
Something about.
It was.
I guess he was a grown man by the time he was born.
Yeah, so. It was very much before our time. When Jay-Z was really like blowing up and stuff. Honestly, around the time that they probably got together is when like he was really looked at like as like the best rapper at the time.
True. I think he's my dad's age, or a little younger.
Yeah, they're like 12 years apart.
They're some years apart. Okay, Beyonce, you gotta get yourself an older man.
Right.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I feel like, you know, especially with Virgos, kind of, I could see Virgos just not wanting to be with anybody. And it's
okay, that's another thing too. They're very picky.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, of course, if she was going to be the best, she had to end up with somebody that was also the best at what they do too.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think, I can't hold it in anymore of what sign I am. Because there's been so many times where I've almost slipped, even with this one.
I noticed you kept saying, because I'm a...
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. I'm like, I gotta stop. Maybe, like, cut that out. But, so I am a Capricorn. And begin the year, okay? Put some respect on her name. And Maya, you are
I am a Leo. You know, I feel like Leos are really known for having really good hair too. So I feel like that could give it away. But yes, very much Leos.
You say I don't got good
hair? No. But you know, like Leos, like it. Not that they have like the best hair, but the hair is gonna be the first thing you notice with Leo.
That's true, because I know Brett Rock has gorgeous.
Oh yeah, hair. Brett, man, Whitney Houston. It's just always hair first, but yes, we are summer babies. August is always the hottest month of the year for the hottest sign.
Well, you do share it with Virgos. So, Oh no.
They got a few days on August or whatever. But
she gonna fight for her money, y'all. August is Leo.
Yeah.
But y'all do start the month, so I see that. But so when we're talking about like fire and earth sign, I'm like, oh, like I can't slip because we're also earth and fire as well. And I get along. I noticed, I get along with Leos pretty good, which is again surprising because I'm like, oh, like you're a fire sign. I didn't like really think, but like in friendships or even like romantic, some like romantic relationships I've had, like with Leo men too, I feel like they've been like pretty good, you know, like for the most part. And then like water signs as well, except for Scorpios. I'm sorry, don't come for me, y'all. But actually, no, I'll get into that a little bit later because I think we're gonna go into like what makes us a Capricorn, what makes you a Leo.
Okay.
But what would you say is like the most Leo thing about you? She loves herself.
Honestly, that part, but it's always different things where like depending on where I am right now or where I am in life. Right now in particular, it's the delusion. Like, especially because I'm starting to get more into the creative space and things like that. So I just like, when I have a vision for something, I always try to see so far into the future. And it's like, oh my gosh, if I start now, this is what it could be. Which, you know, that delusion will really keep you going. And that's something that I do like about Leos. We are a little bit delusional, but it's like that delusion will really keep us going and keep us fed and keep us happy. And then eventually when we get to our goal, it's like, yeah, you know, it seemed impossible when it first came up or we first said it, but look at where we are now type shit.
Look at us, like look at me now. I told all y'all.
Like y'all thought I was crazy, but look at the effect of my delusion. Yeah. What about you? What's the most Capricorn?
Well, I feel like okay, so I can be delusional as well. And I think that has to do with other signs in my chart, but I'm also very realistic, maybe even a little bit pessimistic. It can get that way. I feel like that's what makes me, or like what's really like Capricorn about myself. But I would say I'm now learning to use that for good of like, okay, like realistically, I know this is going to take a lot of hard work. As a Capricorn, I'm fine with that. You know, I'm fine with getting my hands dirty and like working really hard. So I know realistically what it's going to take. And I think sometimes sometimes it can get to the point where it can be pessimistic. Capricorns can be pessimistic where it's like, okay, like this isn't going to happen for us. Like, let's just, or at least for me, I'm like, okay, like not even attempt it. But I'm starting to learn like, no, like realistically, I know that I can't just pray about it one day and then it's magically going to happen. I actually need to put in the work for it. And I think that's how I think about like how I reach my goals is just like writing down the steps. What do I got to do? Right. Okay, let's go and do it. You know, and I can be very judgmental, but rightfully so, because we do be right. Y'all be trying to play us like, oh my God, Capricorn are such a-holes. But aren't we right though? It's like one of those things where it's like, one of my younger sisters, she's a Gemini, and I usually am always right about stuff she be like coming to me for. And you know, she got to go learn her own. And then she be coming back to me, and I'm like, girl, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you this is going to happen?
Right.
So, yeah, but I think that's why I love Virgos, because I've noticed anytime I go around a Virgo, we be in the corner just observing people and judging, but it's like a hobby for us. But it's like no, like I'm not being evil or mean or anything. And if that comes across, that's your problem. But we're just being honest. Like, that sounds so mean. But I'm only judgmental when... Yes, I'm only judgmental when it's rightfully so. Okay? And I feel like me and Virgos will just get along that way of like, oh, girl, did you see what they just did? Or who... She came in here looking like that. Like, you thought that was a look? Or something like that. But... or really it's like people's actions. Like, okay, why did she do that? Like,
Yeah.
she know damn well she shouldn't be acting like this. And I feel like me and Virgos just get one another. Like, okay, you get what I'm coming from because I thought I was the only one tripping in here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I haven't had too many relationships with Virgos, but sometimes that can get to me a little bit.
Ooh.
Like the judgments, the being judgmental, just because I feel like Leos are really big cheerleaders for people.
That's what I was going to actually say. What I love about Leos is y'all are big cheerleaders and like really are understanding and accepting of others, and I think that's something that I could learn to be more like.
Yes, like that's why sometimes I don't, the Leo slander. Well, I guess the slander comes from like people saying Leos are conceited or we're like full of ourselves, but I don't even think it's that. I think it's just kind of like, it's a level of confidence that can come off as like being arrogant, but we just really, it's so much passion and being a fire sign that it's like, no, I'm not conceited, I'm not being arrogant, I just truly believe in myself and I'm truly passionate about myself. But when it's people that we love or like friends and family, we are really like ride or die cheerleaders for them. Like, it's nothing that, like, you want to start a business, like, we're supporting everything, we're buying, we're whatever it is, like, and that's something that I do appreciate. But I definitely get the judgment isn't the problem, but sometimes it's like I can only take so much of it. Because especially in times like this, like, everyone is going through everything. Like, sometimes it's just like, I don't know what it is, because I definitely judge people too. I get secondhand embarrassment.
We all be judging people. Y'all act like no one else do it but Capricorns, but no, we're all judgmental, we're all biased. Like, let's be honest here, you know, because it's like if nobody's doing it, then who's doing it? You know, if everyone's saying like, oh, I'm not judgmental, I accept everybody, no, you don't. Behind closed door, you be talking mess about people.
That's that's very much like a human characteristic, but I think it's just only so much I can like
take.
Yeah.
No, sometimes I have caught myself like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that about like just random person. I don't know.
No.
I think also our sense of humor. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it'd be like that too. I know somewhere, because I have one of my like childhood friends that I grew up with, which I'm pretty sure she's not watching this, so I can say this. But I feel like that's kind of where we like bumped heads, because
what was she, a Capricorn?
She was a Virgo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I feel like there would be times where I would have like an opinion on things. What am I trying to say for real? Like, sometimes we would butt heads as far as like the judgment, because I think where the judgment comes from, I don't know if this is also like being a Leo or if it's another part of my chart, but sometimes when there are people that are being very judgmental, it's like, okay, but what's going on in your life? Like, let's reflect on what you're going through. And I think
just turn it back on us. I'm like, oh girl, I didn't think about it.
I don't know what part of my chart though. I don't know if that's Leo, or it could even be like, because I'm a Aquarius moon, and Leo and Aquarius are like the same but in different ways. So like Leo is kind of like the someone put it, a perfect comparison is like Aquarius is the trend starter and Leo's kind of like the trend setter. Like Aquarius is comfortable with being like an outsider, and that's how they stand out. They are
outsiders. Something about that now.
Yeah, and then Leos are kind of like, we like to be around like bigger groups of people and be in the crowd, but our energy just like stands outside of the crowd. Yeah.
That's what that's what I like, and I think why I'm drawn to Leos, like when I think more about it, is I like people who I feel like they can hold their own and they're confident within themselves, because I've actually realized when somebody's always talking down on themselves, I'm just like, girl, like, the Capricorn jumps out like, okay, what you gonna do about it? Like, okay, you wanna look this, okay, are you going to the gym? Are you eating right? Or, okay, you want this kind of job? Are you applying for these? Like, are you putting the work in? Like, don't come to me.
Let's get realistic
complaining.
Here.
Let's get the notebook out. Let's write this down because you really getting on my nerves. Yeah. And I'm sorry to say it. No, wait, let me reel it back in because I don't want to call this sign out, but it's something I've noticed. It's not all y'all, because I do like some of y'all, but Scorpios, y'all just be a little too sensitive for me. And it's okay because I'm actually very sensitive as well. I think with a Capricorn, I just hold that on the inside. Unless I'm really comfortable around you, then I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, like all this, like all my thoughts really come out. But I don't know, Scorpios, I just noticed we can't be close friends. Like, we're good. Like, hey, girl, how you doing? Oh, okay, I'll see you, here, whatever. But as close friends, oh, no, you drive me crazy. Like, I've noticed that, like, we're not the best together, like, so close. But a distance, like, I'll love you from a distance. But up close and personal, like, y'all need to get a backbone. Like... And not saying that, I'm not saying all of y'all, but I just noticed a trend in that of like, okay, like I'm coming. Or also too, like we can have like very different opinions on things, but they get like really upset if I don't change my opinion to theirs. That's just something I've noticed with like the follow I've had with Scorpios. It's like, I'm not going to change my mind. You're not going to change your mind. Okay, then we just going to not be friends.
And I could definitely see that too because I feel like Capricorns be stubborn in a sense where y'all
rightfully so.
Y'all stand on your opinions.
Rightfully so. Okay, because we're right. Y'all know we are. Don't play me.
That's something similar to like that too. I feel like because we both have Sagittarius moms, and Sagittarius are big on never admitting when they are wrong.
No, my mama.
Like, you literally have to tell them you're wrong and it's okay. Even having like, but I feel like Leo and Sag, we were just talking about this, like, I love that combination down. Like, I love it. Even Leo and Capricorn's like, come on, Barack and Michelle, like.
Wait, Barack is a Leo?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Barack is a Leo.
Okay, Barack. The first black president. Okay.
And the first lady.
A Capricorn. Wow. Yeah, she is a Capricorn.
Yeah.
Love her too.
I love that dynamic. But similar to Capricorns too, Sagittarius kind of have that a little bit where it's like, they will... I guess in a way they can admit that they're wrong, but they won't directly say that. It's kind of like, just leave it alone. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I also have a Sagittarius brother, and we physically fought growing up. Like, that boy did not care. I remember when he was watching his Dragon Ball Z, I hated that show growing up. I didn't like Dragon Ball Z. Sorry if y'all love Dragon Ball Z, but I was not a big fan of it. And I would like try and change the channel. I swear, as soon as I turn, here comes this boy. He's younger than me, like a year younger than me. Just straight punch in the chest.
Oh my god!
Like he was. It was just like we weren't always fighting, but we weren't afraid to hit each other. To really like tussle. Like I even gave him a bloody nose one time because I was trying to. I like WWE growing up a lot, and I was trying this one move. It was supposed to be playful, like we were play fighting, and I'm like, I want to try this one move that I see on TV, and I forgot what move it even was, but he ended up getting a bloody nose, and I was like, oh shit, and I got in trouble.
Of course,
but
yeah. No, since you went on like your. Talked about Scorpios. I'm trying to think
of a sign that you're not compatible with.
Honestly, like I don't want to like bust it down to like gender, because I do get along with Capricorn women. And I honestly really get along with Capricorn men, but I do want to give a disclaimer that it also depends on where people are here. So I feel like when someone is healed or they're working on their healing, they have a certain awareness of like qualities that they have and they know how to work with it. But when someone has not done the work at all, like it really makes a big difference, you know? And I think that's been my experience with Capricorn men. But another sign that like I feel like gets the most hate, which kind of
Gemini
can be disturbed. Yes. And
Geminis.
Don't come for me because one of my best friends is a Gemini and my little sister is a Gemini, so I feel like I could say this respectfully, but it be the switch. Like that's something that I'm like, what? Especially because I feel like, again, Leos, we are very loving, we're big cheerleaders, so I feel like when I have things going on personally with me, like I know that that's personal to me, so I'm not gonna give you an attitude because I'm mad at something that's going on with me, right? Geminis do not know how to filter that out at all. Like growing up with the Gemini little sister, she get mad at something. I ask her one question, she go off on me. Why are you going off on me? And I remember on multiple occasions, like, just because you're mad at that situation don't mean you got to take it out on me. So many times I had to tell her, why are you taking it out on me? Why do we have
why you mad at me?
To deal with the repercussions of you having an attitude about something that's not related to
that's my little sister too.
On.
She's a Gemini and she give me the evil look. I remember when she was going through, or like when she's going through something, like I'm like, hey girl, and she's like, hi, what do you want? I'm just like, I just want to like, you know, see how you're doing. And as a Capricorn, like I'm not lovey-dovey like that to a lot of people, but I mean, she's my little sister, so I'm like, I remember like you was a little I've known you your whole life, which is crazy to think. Like I remember holding her as a baby, so I'm like, this is my baby sister. Like, oh my god, like come here, give me a hug. And she's like, oh hi, like, bitch. If you don't fucking give me a hug, right? The hell going on? What's so bad in your life you can't even give your big sister a hug?
Man, and it gets me too, because even, and I'm sorry because she may be listening to this, but she's aware of her Gemini qualities.
Love you, little sisters, but y'all need to know. Wait, when's her birthday?
June 16th, the same day as Tupac. But I was going to talk about my Gemini best friend, because there's been times too where she'll be fine, but then something will tick her off and it's just a complete 180. Ooh, and it's like, that's true. It's like a little scary how fast the switch is. And I think that's something like, it's not it does kind of bother me with Geminis, but it's not a deal breaker for me. I just know respectfully, like, okay, I'm gonna leave you alone for a little while because I'm not dealing with that attitude.
No, for real. That's crazy. I think about that with my little sister now. And anytime I hear someone's a Gemini, I'm like, ooh, I get like a little nervous at first. So I'm like, wait, like you kind of scare me a little. Like I don't know what side you're gonna give me. But Gemini is actually pretty cool. Like some of them like me, I'm like, yeah, I can say like I don't think I've had any close friends or even friends I think about it now who are Geminis other than my sister, and dang, I'm pretty sure there is, but I can't think of them right now. But I know Left Eye was a Gemini, and I really liked her, And we can't forget about the main person that is like the Gemini of all Geminis. Ooh. Kanye West. Oh yeah, him.
Very fitting for a Gemini. Kanye be so cool. Then you say one wrong thing to come. Have you ever seen
You ain't got the answers, Sway. Yeah. You ain't got the answers. And now he's like, he did have the answers. I was like, bro.
No, seriously.
What is Sway? A Capricorn? Let me find out he was a Capricorn.
I don't know what Sway is, but yes, like Kanye is very much a stereotypical Gemini. But I do really love Geminis, though. I wouldn't say they are like my least favorite sign, but that's just the quality that I really find that kind of like be a struggle in my relationships with them.
Yeah, I would even say like, to even go back, like what I said about Scorpios and what you said earlier of like when people aren't healed.
Yeah.
Because I think every sign has good and bad traits. Right. And I just noticed, like, Scorpios, if they're not healed or they just have more of the bad traits that come with Scorpios, that's where we butt heads.
Yeah.
Because I do have pretty good friends who are Scorpios. And again, we're not the closest friends, but I'm thinking, like, you know, maybe it's because they're a little bit more healed, or like they just show more of the good traits of Scorpios, which I really like. Because I like water signs in general, like Pisces. I've realized even Cancers, like Cancer women, I feel like anytime they're around me, they just like want to hug and cuddle and everything. And sometimes I'm like, okay, girl, like I have an older sister who's a Cancer. I'm like, okay, like I love you, but like we don't gotta like touch each other like every 5 seconds or hug one another. But they're very, actually, don't want to say this. I think my first kiss was a Cancer woman. Shout out to my friend. Wow. We played Spin the Bottle in high school, but oh my god, that's like a little embarrassing to say, but that it was she was so sweet. I love her. She's watching you. Love you, girl. Always loved you. But yes, me and Cancers, I really like them. Yeah.
I like Cancers too. My sister-in-law is a Cancer, and she's definitely the most loving the one I met? Person. Yeah.
Yes, I remember. Like she was like, was she helping? I feel like I just noticed like she was helping a lot of like, oh, do you need this? Or
yeah, she's
like whatever.
She's very motherly.
Yeah, that's the
and
energy.
Very like nurturing and things like that. No, I actually have like 2 Cancer placements too. And I can definitely, I feel like sometimes like mentally I be feeling like a Cancer just because it's like the whatever like placement it's in, it has to do with relationships. And I can really see that because I'm very nurturing and like loving in relationships.
Yeah, I see that as well. Like with Cancers, I feel like they always just have good energy and it's very sweet. Yeah. You know, I'm like, yeah, you're definitely.
For sure.
I have a little sister who is also a Cancer. She's just the sweetest little girl ever. And I think, okay, Capricorn and Cancer, I think we are the most compatible, but it's like something else.
That's your sister sign.
My sister sign. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because Capricorn is like as far as representation, Capricorn is like the father. Like supposed to be very like masculine.
Who's your daddy?
Like,
I'm your daddy.
Like you guys take care of the home, but in more of like handling business kind of way. And Cancer is like motherly, taking care of the home in like a nurturing, loving kind of way of taking the home. So it's like a good balance for sure.
Yeah.
Something I do want to say though, I haven't experienced it, but let me know if y'all have. But I have a good amount of friends that have dealt with Cancer men, and my dad is a Cancer.
How can I forget?
Oh yes, we have both of our parents we both have Sag moms and Cancer dads. Actually, I think our dads have the same birthday.
Yes. July 5th.
So
yes.
One thing about Cancer is because they'll be loving and nurturing, and you know they take care of you, but get on the bad side and it is a totally different
I feel like it's like the silent treatment. It's silent treatment.
What I've heard from my friends that have dealt with Cancer men, it really be like they will do all of this stuff for you, but let you make them upset or do something wrong. It's like after all I did for you type shit.
Damn, actually I did have an experience with a Cancer man and it's a sore spot. You know, we just gotta move on from that.
Just gotta keep going.
Gotta keep it pushing. Like, yeah, it happens. But I see that. I can see that for sure. But I know my dad actually, he's just someone that he don't believe in zodiac. He's like, people always try to say like, oh, as a Cancer, you must be emotional, and he likes to trick people. So he's like, I just say like I'm anything, and they're always like, oh yeah, I can see it because you're this and this and you're like this, and my dad be like, these stupid people.
No, a negative thing about Cancers too is that they can be manipulative. That is something I have heard about.
Well, my dad, and he's been honest about this with me, that he kind of was a player back in his day. So sorry to any of the women who came across my dad.
Honestly, same. Sorry to the women that came across my dad. I know,
right? But
yes, but
that's funny.
Yeah, no, seriously. I guess what is like a sign that you haven't like encountered that maybe you want a relationship with? It could be dating, friendship, yeah. What's like
Pisces?
Pisces, okay.
I would want to see like how wait, Pisces or maybe even Gemini. I just want to see what would happen. For me, I guess I would say I would want to try to see how me and a Pisces man and a Gemini man would go together.
Okay.
Or even like a Gemini. Oh no, my sister. But friendship wise too. I did have another Capricorn friend, but that was like in high school. So I would like to see like how that is now, like having another Capricorn friend.
Okay.
And dang, what else? Who else is there? I'm like thinking Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries. Aries, I love Aries women actually too. Yeah, so like those signs, okay. I would want to see like how would we work? Like would we work out? But what about you?
Well, relationship wise, I am dating a Scorpio, which was a little interesting because I kind of had the same perspective on Scorpios, like similar to what you had, because I have a Scorpio sister. But surprisingly, it hasn't been a bad experience. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say surprisingly, but I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know too much from Scorpio men. But I will say that something about Scorpios that, like their stereotype, is that they can be very mysterious. And my boyfriend is very quiet. Like, I be having to ask him follow-up questions because I want to know all the details. Oh,
he give like one answer
sometimes, or he'll say like if he went on a trip and like I asked him how his trip was and he said some things, but the answer I want is like, okay, what'd you do on Friday? Okay, then what about Saturday? Like, I want to know the details.
We woke up
like,
at this
how
time,
the day went.
And like, we ate this for breakfast, and we went here first.
To a certain extent, yes. That's the answer I want, because if you were to ask me, like, that's really how I go about my day. But friendship-wise, though, I don't know. I will say, out of all the signs, I never really had like any friends or even like dating anyone that was a Libra, and that's someone like a Libra is a sign that's supposed to be really compatible with Leos. So I would like to see like what that dynamic is like for sure.
Yeah, I like Libra women. They're pretty. Cardi B, Kim Kardashian. Right. They're Libras.
Very true. Yeah, I want to see what that would be like. We'll see.
Yeah, but I really like this episode because we probably both could talk about zodiacs for days and everything.
Literally.
But let us know. Y'all can answer the questions too that we were talking about in this episode. What are your zodiac signs? Who do you feel like you're most compatible with or least compatible with?
Yes. And give us some unpopular opinions.
Yeah, unpopular opinions about those a lot. Maybe about our own signs, be careful though, because I will reply. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on anything zodiac related of what you guys want to share. Make sure to leave it down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube and everything.
Yes, and again, thank you guys for joining us. If you stuck around this long to just hear our opinions,
yes.
Definitely follow us on We're literally Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, YouTube,
Apple Podcasts,
yes, Spotify. You can find us everywhere. And yes, thank you guys for tuning in.
Bye.